Hello and welcome to Reads. That's short for really exciting and delightful stories. I'm your host, Nahjee Grant, and I'm a children's author. On this show, we explore children's stories and authors like you. As a matter of fact, you can appear on this show with me and read your story. So this spring, we have a new short story contest, and this time it's for all ages. And to participate, you have to write and illustrate a short story no longer than 32 pages about your best or worst summer vacation. All winning stories will be featured on TV with me, with the possibility of the writer co-hosting the show with me on the show and read their own stories. You can mail your entries to LMTV at 75 East Lancaster Avenue, Ardmore, PA, or at lmtv@lowermerion.org. So you can be on TV with me and read your story to everyone. Doesn't that sound exciting? Well, speaking of stories, I have a special guest with me today, Lorraine Ranalli from the Franklin Mint Federal Credit Union. The credit union is sponsoring this month's episode for Financial Literacy Month, which is every April. They do a lot of wonderful things in the community, and they are here to share some of their initiatives and read a wonderful book to promote financial literacy to children titled The Bernstein Bears Go to the Federal Credit Union. So welcome, Lorraine.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming. So to share a little bit about your position at the credit union and the importance of this book for Financial Literacy Month.
Sure. So The Bernstein Bears Visit the Credit Union is a book that is the key, the signature component of a larger program that promotes financial education, especially toward children kindergarten through third grade. The Bernstein Bears Visit the Credit Union was commissioned by Franklin Mint Federal Credit Union. We commissioned Mike Bernstein to write this specifically for our industry. So at Franklin Mint, what we do, we go out to the children in their classrooms, kindergarten, first, second, third grade classrooms, and we read this book. And then we invite the children to one of our branches where we show them how the credit union functions, and we show them all the different parts of the credit union. And that's what this book kind of mimics, that classroom experience, that field trip experience, right? But we have a really special area in behind one of our branches called the Bear Country Credit Union.
I love Bear Country.
You've been to Bear Country. So what we do when the children visit the credit union, they then go and they role play in Bear Country Credit Union. So they become the teller or the branch manager or the member service representative, and some of the children are members of the credit union in Bear Country, and they get to role play and see just exactly how it is that we handle money, and we teach them the money management concept: save, share, spend, earn. Now this program, this children's financial literacy program, is available only to credit unions. And my function at the credit union is I help to spread this program across the country to other credit unions so they can pick it up and use it in their credit union as well.
Very interesting. So what has been the response, from the kids seeing that? How long? Let me ask you this question: how long has this book been part of the credit union?
The book was written and released in 2015, so it's still relatively new. It's only available through credit unions participating in the program, so it's not a book that you can find retail on the shelves. And the response is fabulous because, Bernstein Enterprises has been around since the early 1960s, so many, many people, generations, have an emotional connection to the Bears. And so the response from children is great. Their parents, their grandparents all love it. Teachers, all educators love it because they all recognize the Bears. They know that Bernstein Bears is symbolic with, nice, good story with a great moral and principles. And like I said, this program in particular stresses save, share, spend, earn. 4 elements of one money management concept, because saving, sharing, spending, earning all go hand in hand. Part of the program is our Cub account. So parents really like this for their young children because they come into Franklin Mint Federal Credit Union, open up a Cub account with a special savings rate, and the child then learns how to manage his or her own money. And they really take ownership of it because as a member of the credit union, they own part of the credit union. That's the beautiful thing about this financial institution. So that's why Mike Bernstein was very impressed with the program and what we're doing in the community, and he's on board, as is the entire Bernstein organization. So it's a nice partnership. And this book, and there's another book, The Bernstein Bears Trouble with Money, we have a credit union version of that. where the bears learn a little lesson, and then they get into a little trouble by overspending, and then they learn how to earn and save their money. And at the end of the book, they take it to the credit union for safekeeping and to earn interest. And that's the initial book, and then this book follows that. Now they get to see what happens inside the credit union branch to their money.
Series.
Yeah.
What's also interesting is that I know, like, when I was in elementary school, we didn't learn anything about, handling money, right, or any financial literacy when we were in school.
Right.
And I'm sure it's probably the same today, in a lot of schools.
Yes.
But I like how you guys are filling this void, right?
Teachers love that about it too, because it really does. Some states require financial education, others have it in the curriculum. They but it's not necessarily required. So what we do when we go out as part of the credit union Franklin Mint, and we go out into the schools, we really fulfill that niche that they might not have time because there's so many requirements. So it's a wonderful thing, and our program is compliant with all the federal regulations and guidances around financial literacy. So we fulfill all those niches.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So obviously we're in the studio. So originally we were going to have this program at one of our local libraries and do a program, do a story time with the kids. I know that you do go into, you partner with libraries and other organizations and
schools, community events,
and you bring the bears.
We do
sometimes as well, and do story times.
Brother and sister bear, and it's wonderful because the children love it, like I said, and their parents love it, and it's a great way to get kids interested in money and their own money management. Yeah.
So also, before you mentioned the bear country, so you have field trips.
Yes.
Where you bring kids into that facility. And just do story times and other activities regarding around financial education.
Yes, we do. We have a lot of activities around financial education, and Franklin Mint pays for those field trips with the schools. We have schools that are partners with us and that are members of our credit union. And sometimes we have local Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts come in as well. And other, in the summertime, we'll do some public events at Bear Country, which is in Broomall. And of course, closer to Lower Merion is our Haverford branch on Lancaster Avenue, and there you can always walk in and speak to anybody in there about a Cub account or about the Bear program and get information.
Well, I'll say wonderful staff.
Thank you. Yes,
wonderful
it is.
Staff. I love everyone there.
Yeah.
And I know that Bear Country is a hidden gem.
It is.
When I stopped by, I didn't want to leave. I felt like a huge kid when I was there.
You were a huge kid.
And I was learning a lot while I was there as well. Well, I thank you for coming.
Thank you
and
for having us, and enjoy the book.
Oh no, I've read it a couple of times and I did enjoy it. I grew up with Bernstein Bears, so I definitely love the story. And this is Bernstein Bears. This is the credit union. So I thank you, Lorraine. And then when we come back, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, we'll read a story and tell you more about how you can be on TV and read a story that you wrote. Don't go away. And welcome back to Reads, and that's short for really exciting and delightful story. And again, I'm your host, Nahjee Grant, and I'm a children's author. And we're back, and we're joined by Rick Durante from the Federal Mint, Federal Credit Union. So you want to share, before we read the book, you just want to share a little bit about your position at the credit union?
Sure, I'd be glad to. So my position at the credit union, I'm Vice President of Education at Franklin Mint Federal Credit Union, which means I oversee all of our community education programs. And one of those programs, of course, is the Berenstain Bears Financial Literacy Program. And this book, Berenstain Bears Visit the Credit Union.
Interesting. So do you normally go out to these locations and read the story yourself?
Yes, we do that. We have a whole staff of people at the credit union who go out and read this story in schools, libraries, community events, and so on.
Interesting. So in your observation, since this book has been introduced to the credit union, what's been like the impact that it's had on the kids since I think Lorraine said it was 2015 this book was introduced?
It's over 3 years now. I think one of the impacts it has, because it is the Berenstain Bears, that makes it a little more impactful for kids. Really what we want to do is teach financial literacy, teach financial education, have kids become more financially literate at a younger age. By partnering with the Berenstain Bears, it gets a little more attention. We didn't have to go out and create new characters for this program. we have the Berenstain Bears, so we're able to use them and create a story around the Berenstain Bears that kids already know. They're very credible to them, and they've been entertained by them for over 50 years.
Interesting. So you guys mentioned all the things that the credit union does, all the different programs. Is there anything on the horizon that you guys haven't been done already, as far as like expanding a future program or new programs, as far as with financial literacy with the Berenstain Bears, or is it everything that you're doing now and you're just fine with the programs you're doing now?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. So we are doing a lot now, not just with the Berenstain Bears financial literacy program, but we are doing financial education, pretty much from kindergarten all the way up, through adult age. So we're going not only to elementary schools, we're middle schools, high schools, colleges. We mentioned libraries. We're out there on location on work sites where we're doing financial education on site for employees of our sponsor groups. So there's really a lot that's going on, not necessarily an expansion of programs, but expansion of our program. Each year we have new groups coming in, new schools, new community groups, and so on. So that's really where we see the expansion within where we are now, but also within a geographic reach, a larger geographic reach, I should say.
Right. So without further ado, in the moment we've all been waiting for, Rick will now read the story, Berenstain Bears Visit the Credit Union.
Okay, thank you. The Berenstain Bears Visit the Credit Union by Mike Berenstain. The credit union is the best place we know for saving your money and watching it grow. Brother and Sister Bear knew something about money. For instance, they knew they liked it. That was because you could buy things with it: school supplies, clothes, toys, and yummy snacks. They sometimes earned a little money by doing chores for folks around the neighborhood, and Mama and Papa gave them an allowance each week. And I know a lot of you do get an allowance each week, and there's a lot of fun things you can do with it, just like the Bears are doing with it as well. But they knew it was not a good idea to spend all their money right away. It was better to share part of it with others, spend it wisely and carefully, and save most of it, but where? So our Bear family had a little bit of a problem, as happens in a lot of Berenstain Bears books, and they're not sure how to solve it. But we're going to find out how they solved their problem of where to put all this money. One day, brother and sister got a chance to learn more about saving money and using it wisely. They were going on a trip from the Bear Country School to a credit union, a place where folks can safely save their money. Mom and Papa were coming as parent helpers along with their little sister, Honey. Mr. Brown, the manager of the Bear Country Credit Union, has invited us to visit them, explained Teacher Bob. What is a credit union, brother asked the teachers. A credit union is a safe place to save your money like a bank, explained Teacher Bob. But unlike a bank, a credit union belongs to all the folks who save their money there. Yes, added Teacher Jane. Everyone who saves money at the credit union actually owns the credit union, so the credit union works just for them. Have any of you ever been to a credit union where you're able to save your money? The students climbed aboard the big yellow school bus for the trip to the credit union. On their way, they passed the Bear family's own treehouse home. Say, said Papa, looking it over, our front steps could use a new coat of paint. Don't worry, said Mama. We'll use some of the money we have saved at the credit union to buy new paint. Do we have money at the credit union? Asked Brother. Yes, indeed, said Mama. That is where we always put our savings. They soon pulled up in front of the credit union, climbed down, lined up, and made their way inside. A tall, friendly bear greeted them. Hello, Cubs, he said. Welcome to the Bear Country Credit Union. I'm Mr. Brown, the credit union manager. That means I'm the boss. He said with a smile, we're all very happy you're here. I'll be giving you a special tour. First, let's meet some of our tellers, like Ms. Bruin here. Tellers, said Sister, puzzled. What do they tell? I tell you how much money you have, laughed Ms. Bruin. Mr. Grizzly here is putting some money into the credit union. I can tell him how much he is putting in and how much he already has saved. And maybe some of you have visited the credit union with your parents and put some money in at a teller. Mr. Brown led them behind the teller counters to a big window. This is our drive-up station, he explained. The teller here makes money from folks who drive up in their cars. Cars can also drive up to an ATM. That's a machine that automatically takes in and gives out money. That way, folks who are in a hurry can quickly put money into their savings or take it out. And some of you might have used an ATM too and taken money out. Next, Mr. Brown showed them many bears working in offices. This is where our credit union officers work, said Mr. Brown. They keep track of all the money that is saved here. Then, Mr. Brown took them into a room with a big round metal door. It was like the door to a huge safe. Welcome to our vault, said Mr. Brown. We keep money here locked up in special safe drawers. We also have drawers called safe deposit boxes, which are used by our members who need a safe place to keep valuable things. Where do you keep some of your valuable things? The bears have some valuable things that might be a little different than we have in the human world. We're going to see those in just a second. We have our own family safe deposit box here, said Papa. I'll show you. Papa took out a key. Mr. Brown took out another key. They put both keys in the locks of a safe deposit box and opened it. Inside were several jars of honey. This is my special golden honey, said Papa. It is the most valuable honey in all bear country. Papa and Mr. Brown locked the valuable honey up again. So probably when you go to a credit union with your mom or dad or someone else, you're probably not saving up honey like the bears do. But of course, in bear country, honey is the most valuable thing you could have. Leaving the vault, Mr. Brown showed them an interesting machine. This is a coin counter, he explained. When folks have lots of coins to save, it can count them quickly and accurately. I have some change, said Teacher Bob. May we see how it works? Mr. Brown put the coins in the machine. There was a humming sound, and a dial read $2.67. Neat, said Sister. Nearby, there was a large display of money. It showed different coins and bills and how much they were worth. There were pennies, nickels, dimes, and a dollar bill, but there was also a $50 bill and even a $100 bill. Wow, said Brother, that's a lot of money. You said it, said Papa. I hope all of you will come back to the credit union to open your own Cub account, said Mr. Brown. You will get passbooks that show how much money you have saved. When you save money at the credit union, your money grows. That's because the money earns interest. A little bit of money for each day your savings are here. The Bear family imagined what they might do with the money they saved. Mama wanted to be sure they had enough money to pay for things like painting the steps. Papa wanted to save up to buy new tools for his woodworking business. Sister thought it would be nice to save money for the pet shelter to help kittens and puppies. Brother wanted to save money for his soccer team to get new equipment. So everybody has different ways to save money, and they also have different things they'd like to buy with their money. And sometimes we don't just buy with our money, sometimes we share it with others, just like Sister Bear wanted to do and share her money to the pets at the pet shelter. And Brother Bear, he wanted to share his money with his soccer team. So there's different ways and things that we could do with our money. To help you save up money to put in your Cub accounts, Mr. Brown said, "We have some presents for you all." Mr. Brown and the tellers handed out wonderful little piggy banks to all the Cubs. They couldn't wait to get them home and start saving their money to put into Cub accounts at the credit union. Do any of you have piggy banks at home? I know I do too. And there's lots of different places you can put your money, but a piggy bank's always a great thing to have, and then you can take the money that's in it and deposit it at the credit union and help save it. Now our credit union tour is done, said Mr. Brown. Thank you for visiting us. I hope you enjoyed learning about how your money is kept safe and growing at the credit union. Yes, we did, said Teacher Bob, and we enjoyed meeting all the nice folks here who just do such a good job of taking care of our money. Goodbye, called the Cubs as they climbed back aboard the big yellow school bus. Their brand new piggy banks were empty now, but they would soon fill them up and head back to the credit union to open Cub accounts where they could keep their savings safe and growing.
The end.
The end.
The end. Well, that's a wonderful story.
Thank you.
It's a wonderful story, and I know that it has a huge impact on all the kids who, or this book is read to, in different programs. So one of the things I was thinking about before you were reading, obviously April is Financial Literacy Month, and all the programs that you talked about, those are year long.
That's right.
Right. Is there anything specific towards April that the bank has just for Financial Literacy Month, or everything's just year round?
Well, April is Financial Literacy Month. Not only is it Financial Literacy Month, it's also Credit Union Youth Month as well. So credit unions as a whole celebrate both. Obviously, promoting financial literacy is one, and then promoting youth accounts and having youth come into the credit union is another. Now, of course, we focus on that all year round. It's just that April is the time where there's more of a focus on it. And the Financial Literacy Month is something that started by a presidential decree. And as that continued, it was just a good way to get people thinking more about financial education and financial literacy. Now, our credit union, we do a number of different things, obviously throughout the year, but in April, we do emphasize it a bit more, and we emphasize savings, and we emphasize opening a Cub account for the Merion St. Bears Financial Literacy Program in our credit union, too. It's just we put a little more emphasis on it.
Interesting. Well, I'm always like it's a gift and the curse, because everything that you mentioned is wonderful, especially for the kids, right? Like the Cub accounts, financial literacy, financial education, this book. But I'm always thinking, well, when I was younger, what were all these programs in this book when I was in elementary school? It's always after,
right,
when I'm too old, all these programs.
You hear that all the time. I hear that all the time.
Well, I appreciate you for coming on, and definitely appreciate Lorraine for coming on, the previous guest, as well. And it's unfortunate that this book is not available anywhere but at the credit union.
Well, it's available at Franklin Mint Federal Credit Union, and there's about a dozen others across the country now that also have this book. And also through Franklin Mint Federal Credit Union, we've donated this book to quite a few schools and libraries as well. So you might find it in your local library as well, since we love to get it out there and we love to share it. So you might just find it if you look.
So you have to open up a Cub account.
To receive this book, it's very easy to do. You can just come into one of our Franklin Mint Federal Credit Union branches, open a Cub account, and you'll receive this book, a piggy bank, and a coupon sheet to help save too. So you can come back with your full piggy bank, and we'll match some of the money that's in there too.
That sounds good. Well, again, thank you for coming.
Oh, you're welcome.
I want to thank again the Franklin Mint Federal Credit Union for sponsoring this month's episode for our Financial Literacy Month for the month of April. And before we go, I just would like to share, again, how would you like to read your story with me right here on TV? For this spring, we have a spring short story contest where you can write and illustrate your own story. This one's open to all ages. And to participate, you write and illustrate a story no longer than 32 pages about your best or worst summer vacation. All winning stories will be featured on TV with me, and the possibility of the writer co-hosting the show with me to read their own story. There will be prizes this time. Elementary school winner will receive 2 tickets to the Please Touch Museum. One middle school winner will receive 2 tickets to Six Flags. The high school winner will receive a $100 scholarship. And the adult winner will receive a $100 gift card to Amazon.com. And all prizes this contest are sponsored by CertaPro Painters of the Main Line. And this contest started March 21st, the first day of spring, and ends May 25th of 2018. You can mail your entries to LMTV at 75 East Lancaster Avenue, Ardmore, PA, or email us at lmtv@lowermerion.org. Remember, you can be on TV with me and read your story to everyone. And doesn't that sound exciting? Until next time, keep reading, and reading really exciting and delightful.